In addition to the fact that China is creating the green energy technology revolution in the world, it manufactures more solar, EV, has more wind and hydropower than any other country in the world, and is adding more nuclear power facilities than any country in the world. China is also doing something else. Besides cutting emissions in its own country and countries around the world, China is also doing another thing that's very important: adding more trees, total trees, than any other country in the world ever. So China is not only regrowing old forests, but it's actually adding new forests that didn't exist previously, especially at the rims of deserts to prevent desertification. It's also doing something called afforestation, adding forests where forests didn't exist before. So China has added more over the last 30 or 40 years forest cover than any country in the history of the world. I live here in China. I go and see these projects. I participate in tree planting projects. And they have some amazing technology to do this. They also just have, brute force of tons of people to help do it. And people do this on their vacations. People show up at resorts in the desert to go do these tree planting. NASA has actually confirmed with satellite images that China is greening deserts, regreening forests, old forest growth. It's adding more forest than any other country. And this is the best carbon capture technology ever, because it's just a seed, some water, and some attention from humans to get it off the ground. And then we're actually able to prevent desertification, something that is plaguing much of the rest of the world. China is actually getting that contained. Carbon capture using nature, adding forests, reforesting parts of cities. It's amazing. I had some American students who came from the East Coast of the United States to China, to Beijing specifically, and one of the comments that they kept making was, wow, there's more trees here than we have back home in any of the cities where I live in the East Coast of the United States.
The thing that did surprise me, there's a lot of greenery and trees and flowers. You don't see it in American cities, like the amount, like everywhere you go, there's some sort of tree or there's like flowers, or it's pretty nice.
And so we walk around, you see this. Another thing China does was it'll actually paint the side of the mountain with seeds. So it'll actually have this pre-fertilized, pre-seeded liquid that it sprays on the side of a hill, and then you come back and it's completely covered with lush vegetation in a few months. So that, China is doing all kinds of things. It uses drones to fire seeds into the ground. The technology in China is amazing, but also just the willingness of humans to go and green China is amazing. And I think, some people are confounded by this, and they don't even believe that it's happening, or they don't believe it's happening at the scale that it is. And I encourage them, come to China for yourself. See it for yourself. You'll be a believer like I am.
Elvis has left the building.